Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Not General Audience podcast. Today, we're not going to have a formal podcast this week. The other hosts, for various reasons, weren't able to make it today. But we still had some topics that we needed to hit on for this week that we thought we needed to just get there while they're still relevant. So we're just going to have two separate, I guess, shorter reviews, just like full videos. But this video that you're watching right now will be the review of Peacemaker Season 2. And then later on, you should expect a video on Tron Ares. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Peacemaker Season 2. This was very, very much hyped, just based off of several factors. There's just the DCU. There's the hype after season one, how great season one was. There's this great cast that we have in this show. I was very much excited to see again, and before going into this season, I went and rewatched the Suicide Squad, and then season one, and so I was very prepared for this season. So I guess I should say we're gonna do a quick non-spoiler section, and then we'll get into the spoilers. We're gonna not only be talking the finale, but just the season as a whole. So yeah. So I guess my overall thoughts on the season, without spoiling it, I found it to be quite disappointing. Um, I guess I'll get into more of that later, but let's get into I guess I have my notes right here. The characters, the characters, I thought uh, at the beginning of the season, I wasn't sure where we were going with these characters. Chris, Peacemaker, he felt, I guess, not himself, which I guess my feelings at the start of the season, I guess, were changed, but by the end of the season, I guess in a more positive way, just seeing the character development that we've had. Because like at the start of the season, I was like, what are we doing with these characters? A lot of them are just so down the dumps, and just not like how they were in season one. But I guess as the season progressed, we were able to see like what's going on, what's happened in the past, what happened in season one that got them to this point. So I thought, all right, I actually like what we're doing with these characters, um, and then the story overall. I guess there's two plot points that kind of are kind of overlapping, but not really. Um, there's Argus, and then there's this other Earth that Peacemaker travels to. Um, and I thought that both plot points were very compelling as they were going, but then we get to the resolution of these plot points, and it kind of just felt like we went nowhere with them, which was I get very disappointing, as I've been saying. Um, it's just I was hoping to see more from these things. I guess I'll get into more of that in a second. We were told that this show would lead into the greater DCU, and just I see where that statement is coming from, but I think they kind of overpromised in what was what was said by James Gunn and DC. So I guess to wrap up this non-spoiler segment, I'll give it a score. I'm feeling if season one is 9 out of 10, I'd give this season probably a 6.5 to 7. Um, there's a lot to enjoy from this season. It's very funny. There's some great new characters that I love. The just the audience in general loved, and that I'm excited to see more of. But just the story itself needed some work, which was very, very apparent. So, moving on. All right. So this is your spoiler warning for the entirety of Peacemaker season 2. So if you haven't seen it already, or at least the finale, this is your chance right now to leave. So spoilers. So I guess getting into I guess just the premiere of the season, the big talking point then was the retcon from the show originally being part of the DCEU in like the Zack Snyder universe to the DCU with James Gunn's universe, where the finale of season 1 had the Justice League of who was in there. Aquaman, Flash, Superman, and Wonder Woman showed up. Obviously, being, I guess, the two actors to actually show up were Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller as their characters, which was great. It was a great scene, but to tie this season into the show into the new DCU, that scene was reshot for the season recap at the beginning of season 2, where that Justice League was now replaced by the Justice Gang from Superman. That really bothered me at the start. I was hoping that, I guess knowing beforehand from the trailers that this show would deal with the multiverse, that they would use that to kind of explain why the universe is slightly different than it was before, with it being the DCU or the DCEU and now the DCU. But they really didn't. They just said, you know what, never mind, it's actually this universe, and just move on. I guess that bothered me for the first maybe week or two of the season running, but I quickly got over it and just moved on and enjoyed the show for what it was, and have accepted that this is how it is. And like I've so far been enjoying the DCU. Like I enjoy Superman. I recently watched Creature Commandos a couple weeks ago, which I also enjoyed quite a bit. But yeah, just that retcon was big plot point. Bothered me at the start. Now I'm fine with it. So next, looking at my notes. Yeah. So slow start. I thought it was kind of moving past the retcon, just getting into the actual episode. I thought it started really slow, very somber. The characters are down in the dumps, like I said before. Chris is dealing with rejection from hardcore. Adebayo is dealing with her split from her wife. Yeah, and then like other characters like Vigilante are kind of just doing nothing throughout the majority of the season. Who else? Economos it probably has the most to do out of, I guess, outside of just Peacemaker himself. And he's been the most fun, Economos. But yeah, just I thought that the show was kind of struggling to find its footing and really convey where it was going, because we had set up the Argus plotline with Red Flag Senior now being the head of that, and he's hunting down Peacemaker because he wants revenge for Peacemaker killing his son in the Suicide Squad. And then there's the plot point of what we know now is Earth X, where Chris Peacemaker travels to uses the door that his dad has to go to this parallel universe, which he at first thinks is perfect, but then we later learn that it's a Nazi universe. But the episodes themselves felt very rushed. They were way way too short. They're like half-hour episodes every week, and like as a whole in the season, you could say a lot happens, but like in each episode, it's just very very little happens each episode. There's just like a little amount of build up for certain things, and then kind of like a small pop at the end of these short episodes, and then it's just over every week for 8 weeks, and it's kind of like, well, we kind of didn't really get anything for these seasons, and that was kind of killing the momentum for the show that I had. It was like, after a certain point, it, I was just thinking, like, where are we going? Episode 7, after the Earth X reveal, this episode just wraps up that plot point just very fast in a very 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 short episode. Um, because like we're going in expecting, like, I guess I wanted more from the Earth X plot point, because that's a fascinating story to tell, where you're in this universe where the Nazis won, and everyone in this world are bad people, and we don't really explore that at all in the 2 episodes that it was relevant, um, or I guess in the 2 episodes where that reveal happened, uh, because the only people like from that universe that we actually follow are Peacemaker's dad and his brother, and we learn that his dad is actually a good person, or is kind of a good person, who just tries to do good, but has to deal with what he has in the universe. And then the brother, I guess, might be similar, but he has anger towards Peacemaker for other reasons, which I guess because he killed his real brother. But yeah, that's pretty much all we get, because like we don't really see the bad side of this universe except for the mob chasing Adebayo. Other than that, I wanted them to do more to show us that, oh, this universe is super super messed up. Besides just a flag, a mural, and them chasing Adebayo, I wanted to see them really like double down on this, and they just don't. And then they wrap it up in like 5 seconds with the showdown at the Smith house, and like we tease like Vigilante and his doppelganger, with that guy being just like our Vigilante, and like we think, oh, there's gonna be a bloodbath with these two just killing a bunch of Nazis. Yeah, for like 3 seconds, and then it's over, and then they just escape. They get out, get out pretty much scot free. So that was a huge letdown. Also, I guess the Argus plot point, Rick Flag Senior, on his revenge quest for Peacemaker. This leads more into the finale. Just Rick Flag felt like a totally different character than he was in Creature Commandos, and like I guess there's kind of a progression, but not really, because like in that show, in Creature Commandos, he's very much on the side of metas, and he's friends with them. He's on the team with them. He fights for them. But then just in this show, just I guess he's just that so much against Peacemaker, who isn't even a meta, that he's willing just to turn on them for some reason. It felt kind of out of nowhere, and then he kind of just turns into a cartoon villain at the end, with him just not caring about his soldiers dying in these universes. And then I guess the ending itself, with Rick Flag trapping Peacemaker in the Salvation world. Um, yes, the finale was very much hyped up by James Gunn, with this being his best work that he's ever done, and this having huge ramifications for the DCU. I think James Gunn doesn't quite know what we as fans are looking for in his answers to like universe questions, because like, yeah, the salvation thing is going to be important in the DCU, because I can only guess that in Man of Tomorrow that this will be a huge plot point, because it is linked to Lex Luthor. But it's like this, it's really not that big of a thing to really get fans like hyped for something, because like we want to, like, I didn't want like a huge cameo from like Brainiac or Nightwing or Batman or something like that, but I wanted a finale that had a bigger pop to it, like season one did, and this just didn't have that. Um, and then like it ends, or like the checkmate thing with the all our main characters starting this new checkmate business. I guess that's probably also important. They're probably setting up another show, which would basically just be Peacemaker season 3 without Peacemaker. Um, which, like, okay, it'll probably be fun. It'll probably be similar to Peacemaker, but again, that isn't really the huge pop that we're looking for. And then like also, like how I said that all the episodes are really short beforehand. The finale is an hour long, but it's like the extra half hour is just music video of Foxy Shazam singing their intro song. It's like, okay, we get it, James Gunn, you like this music. And I'm sounding a lot like a James Gunn hater right now. I love James Gunn. I love Superman. I love his Guardians movies, but just the gun jammed. Um, uh, I was really hoping for more, you know. So I guess this video, I guess, has been pretty sporadic. I guess just bear with me. This is my first time doing this by myself, but yeah, those were my thoughts on Peacemaker season 2. Um, very very disappointing. Felt like nothing really happened. There was good character development for each characters, but then it didn't really culminate to anything. Um, I'm curious to see what they'll do in the future, if they'll do a season 3 or if they'll just do a checkmate show. Um, I hope that this also just doesn't get resolved in Man of Tomorrow, with like Peacemaker just getting out in that, because then that really just would make this season totally irrelevant. Oh, all that happened is to be resolved in a totally different movie. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts. Expect one more video of Tron Ares review after this, and then hopefully we should be back to full podcasts with the other hosts. And see you next time.